Good evening, I'm Emily Talapa.
And I'm Briana Mercado. Here's what's coming up next on PantherVision.
Health concerns for students on campus.
A moving vigil for Paris comforting students affected by the attack.
And reuniting lost pets with their owners.
All that and more next on PantherVision.
From the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, this is UWM PantherVision. A weekly newscast reported, written, and produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. And now, the news.
Good evening. Big medical concerns at UWM.
Emily Zantow is here with more.
UW-Milwaukee has confirmed one case of the mumps. Norris health officials are reaching out to anyone who has been in contact with the infected person. Mumps are highly contagious and viral, but Norris officials are hoping that the timing of this will help stop the spread.
This is more than your average year in terms of mumps cases. So what we're hoping, it wouldn't be unexpected to have some additional cases. But what we're hoping is that because of the timeline of this and our awareness and the holiday break again, that it will be very limited.
There have been 37 confirmed cases in Wisconsin alone this year, and most are associated with universities. UW-Milwaukee is offering free vaccinations on Wednesday at the Union Fireside Lounge. Norris health officials advise anyone suspected of having mumps to stay home. Back to you, Emily and Briana.
Thanks, Emily. Mumps are a highly contagious virus that is known to cause throat and jaw swelling.
The problem is that people can spread the disease before they know they are sick. That's because symptoms usually show up to 16 to 18 days after being infected. Earlier signs of mumps include fever, prolonged headaches, muscle soreness, exhaustion, and loss of appetite. If you're concerned about your health, contact Norris Health Center as soon as possible.
It's been 2 weeks, but the violence in Paris is still resonating at UWM.
The November 13th terrorist attacks killed 130 people and injured about 3 times as many.
Ketchy tells how, for one student, the violence hit especially close to home.
Following the numerous recent attacks against the civil society, to come together.
English, French, and Arabic. A speech delivered in 3 languages brought 100 students to Space Plaza 3 days after the terrorists struck Paris. There were no candles, but to see chilly rain undeter so many warmed Matilde Maslin.
It means a lot, especially when you are so far away from home.
Maslin is an exchange student from Paris. She was close by when the 2 gunmen opened fire at the Charlie Hebdo headquarters.
It was worse this time because last time I was afraid for myself because I was in Paris, and now I'm afraid for everyone else, like my whole family, my friends, everyone. Yeah, here it is.
L'enfer, c'est l'enfer sur terre ici.
That's my sister's message. She says, we are all right. It's hell on earth here.
That how in the Bakkala theater took the life of one of her teachers.
That's his wife who died too, and a former student from the same school. We must mourn our dead, but don't stop living. Don't be afraid.
It's an uncertain and sometimes scary world that we live in.
UWM's Director of Study Abroad says the 4 UWM students in Paris were given the choice to return home, but chose to continue their programs.
They chose to study in Paris for a reason. They were sort of called to be there.
Ackman and Maslin both say that cultural exchanges like study abroad are a tool to combat the hate and fear which led to brutality in Paris and worldwide.
Let us unite our hands and weave together a barrier.
After the speeches, the rain subsided, and John Lennon gave a closing message.
The very gesture to take someone you don't know and take his hand, I think that's how you see that it's gonna be really hard to defeat that part of humanity.
In Milwaukee, I'm Kathy for PantherVision.
A UWM professor is currently in Paris and was near the scenes of some of the attacks.
PantherVision's Tyler Krieger joins us with more now on that story. Tyler?
Tammy Williams is familiar with the Bataclan Cafe and Theater in Paris. She has the Wi-Fi password, she knows the specials, she's a full-on regular. So naturally, her shock about hearing after the attacks that occurred were especially heavy on her. When Williams first arrived in Paris, she lived in an apartment a short 2-minute walk away from the Bataclan with a roommate. Now, she can hardly bring herself to revisit the area.
Lives there, and so I stayed there a few times, and I just stayed there about a month ago. And now I don't even want to walk near it because it's just like, you just have these images of this horror show.
The attack at the Bataclan Theater that killed 80 people shook the city of Paris, as well as the rest of the world, but Parisians are trying to keep their hearts open.
And I would say that the one thing I have not felt here is hatred. Like, it's amazing. People are kind of trying to move forward. They're trying really hard, but there still is this mass anxiety.
Williams says the attacks seem to evoke a strong sense of solidarity among Parisians. She's in Paris on a research sabbatical. That's all in Paris. Back to you, Briana.
Thanks, Tyler. Standing the solidarity, people across the nation are showing their support for the students at the University of Mizzou as racial tensions grow on campus. And as I found out, UWM students are joining the movement.
In 1964, I walked my tail off so I can vote, so I can move on the South Side. This is happening.
More than 75 UWM students dressed in all black marched throughout the Union in solidarity of the Mizzou Alliance on Thursday. President of the Black Student Union, Lavelle Young, led the rally.
We are not here to just chant in solidarity with Mizzou, but we also here to say that we actually experience these same issues on our campus.
Lavelle asked why students came.
Why are you tired? I'm tired of racism on campus. I'm tired of segregation. I'm tired of it all. I want it all to end now, today.
Student Devin Gatton came to make sure people knew what the rally was about.
Cause a counter-protest, counteract the message that the Black Student Union and SDS was giving here on campus, which is UWM supports Mizzou and what Mizzou is doing, and not everybody does. As a matter of fact, the majority of the campus doesn't even know what's going on down in Missouri.
Then, over 30 students laid on the floor in a dying demonstration. In Milwaukee, I'm Briana Mercado for PantherVision.
Marquette also held a demonstration at the same time, and a follow-up discussion was held at the Union.
Chancellor Monet is responding to a string of robberies and carjackings near campus. Monet announced that UWM police will increase patrols and offer safety courses. He also reminded students to use resources like SafeWalkers and BOSS. Almost 300 surveillance cameras are being added to campus to increase safety. In general, crime is down about 35% this year, but the crimes that have happened have been more concentrated. UWM students receive crime alerts. They can receive crime alerts on their cell phones by signing up for Safe Alerts.
Nearly 34,000 people in Wisconsin are registered to concealed weapon carry on in public. But UWM's campus is an entirely different story. PantherVision's Jason Girondale has more.
New legislation being considered by the state Senate could drastically change the campus. Devin Gatton and the Young Americans for Liberty held a table event to try and get their message to students.
Well, some of the major misconceptions that we're hearing right now about concealed carry on campus is that once it passes, everybody's going to be in the courtyard, OK Corral style, having their guns out, blazing at each other, shooting each other, just because they can. And it's a ridiculous notion.
Gatton disagrees with that notion.
The problem is that you have to be over the age of 21, first of all, to be able to even conceal carry here in the state of Wisconsin, right? So that eliminates a giant chunk of the population here at UWM. But then there's other qualifiers that would lower the population even further and further and further.
Veterans in UWM's Maverick Center believe the addition of guns would create more problems than it would solve.
Because right now people are thinking like you're adding guns to something that doesn't need to have guns. You're making a volatile situation of a situation that's not even close to being volatile right now. Why?
The debate continues, and as of now, students are forbidden to conceal carry on campus. In Milwaukee, I'm Jason Girondale for PantherVision.
A bill has been proposed by Wisconsin lawmakers, which would repeal current weapon bans on UWM campuses. Until then, students will have to leave their weapons at home.
UWM Chancellor Mark Monet says he hopes to announce budget cut plans for 2016 by the end of the month. In an email to faculty, Monet says that despite budget cuts, it's important for the school to remain a research university. The only other research university in the UW system is UW-Madison.
The UWM System Board of Regents is starting to put together a new tenure policy. This comes after the state eliminated its tenure legislation earlier this year. The policy is still in early stages of development. A brainstorming session was held last Monday. Some professors say they're concerned the new tenure system will not protect professors' unpopular research.
Campus housing can be a big concern for many college students. Both MATC and UWM team up to fill that need. MATC's Bettina Lawson tells us about students waiting for a place to call home.
What was the reason for creating the housing for MATC students?
It was to give the students an opportunity for just the traditional college experience, to live at a dorm and go to college. Since we're a technical college, we don't have like on-campus housing, so we wanted to give them this opportunity.
Right now, there's been a hold put on the program. Why?
There were more students interested in it than they could hold.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the number of students that have now are being housed?
20 to 25 there now.
Okay, and how many students was trying to get houses that didn't?
Personally, I mean, I've come across maybe 5 or 6 that I've had to turn away. Okay. So far. It could increase.
Okay. What steps are MATC and UW-Milwaukee taking to resolve the problem?
They're not taking any. UWM students obviously come first. Right. So it's basically if there's room on the dorms, which there typically has been until now, that they allow our students to come there.
Does MATC plan on partnering up with other local campuses?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Not that you're aware of. Okay, so there's not. What about building their own housing? I mean,
no, they're a technical college, so there's a big difference as far as traditional, types of offerings to students. I don't think we can afford to have on-campus housing. I don't really know what would be all involved in that.
Coming up next on PantherVision, Finding Fiddle.
The local group helping Milwaukeeans find their best friend.
Plus, a world of beans brews up something special on UWM campus.
And a card game brings students together in a world of imagination.
All that and more on PantherVision.
This is where powerful ideas lead to proven results. This is where you belong.
The Milwaukee Area Domestic Animal Control Commission, or MADC for short, cares for more than 11,000 animals a year.
And as I found out, they can help you find your lost pet. Elliot's a sneaky little guy.
The front door wasn't locked, so he pulled on the drapes and let himself out.
And his owner, UWM senior Blair Wright, knew where to turn when he escaped. MADC, or Milwaukee Area Domestic Animal Control Commission, holds stray and lost pets until they can be adopted or returned to their homes.
The first thing we do is we check them for a microchip, and then we take a picture of them, we put it on our website, and then we deworm them, vaccinate them, and then give them food, water, and a place to sleep like this.
Kathy Schillinglaw, MADC's volunteer and outreach coordinator, helps treat the pets. They are then held up for 8 days before being put up for adoption, but that is not the preferred goal.
I mean, adopting out cats and dogs is fantastic, but if we know who the owner is, that's really our ideal.
The best way to do so is with microchips, which act like an internal ID system.
And when we swipe it, we know what company it is that we can call, and it'll tell us the owner's name, their phone number, their email, and where they live.
And that's exactly what helped reunite Blair and Elliot.
Maddox called me because he's microchipped, and they knew that I was the owner, and then I got him from Maddox.
A man and his cat, back together again. In Milwaukee, I'm Emily Talapa for PantherVision. Maddox is currently undergoing $3 million in renovations that will provide more space for their animals.
The University of Wisconsin system is recruiting students and staff to brainstorm financial solutions to combat budget cuts. An online survey has been created to give people another platform to share their ideas. It's an extension of the listening sessions held during the fall. UWM leaders are expected to release a new strategic financial plan in the spring.
Lawrence University is easing the costs of college with a $52 million scholarship fund. Last fall, Lawrence received an anonymous $25 million challenge donation. It took them little over a year to match the donation. The need-based scholarships will go to 1,500 students, with an average of $35,000 going to each student. Tuition at Lawrence is $43,000 a year.
100 million cups of coffee are consumed each year in the United States. As students cram for final projects and studying for exams, sometimes that boost of caffeine can go a long way. At UWM, the Inclusive Excellence Center hosts an international coffee social that brings beans from around the world. Amber Bach reports.
Coffee is not just something you drink out of a cup.
Coffee in different cultures can mean different things. It can mean communion, while here typically it's just like, I'm tired, I'm going to go to Starbucks. But in other places it's a form of communion. It's something that people drink during like holidays or family occasions. So it's interesting how we will use it for like, oh, I just need like, caffeine, and seeing how it is everywhere else.
James Flores is a senior at UWM and attended the International Coffee event for Native Americans. He shares a deep passion for his culture.
Sure. I'm an enrolled member of the Oneida Nation. My Oneida name is Yoda Hala Dase, and it means sunlight circles around. So I'm very culturally active.
He is also a powwow dancer. James, along with other Native American students, get misconceptualized.
We're a diverse people of background, so a lot of times people think that they just want to see one type of Native Americans, but really there's Native Americans that are light, dark. They're mixed with other different nationalities that came here to the United States.
Remember, drinking coffee together and chit-chatting is better than drinking it alone. In Milwaukee, I'm Amber Bach for PantherVision.
Luis De Leon joins us with a look at our weather.
Thanks, how you guys doing?
Pretty good, how are you?
I'm doing all right. We haven't seen much snowfall really at all this December. It's a slow start to winter, and for some of us it's a good thing. Others who really enjoy the snow, we're going to be seeing that trend continuing where we're not going to see much snowfall this week. Rather, we might actually see some rain. So,
all right, take some rain.
I guess so, yeah.
As for your weather headlines, we are going to be seeing that slow start to winter continuing this week. For those who don't like snow, it's a great thing to hear. Temperatures staying in the 40s and maybe even touching 50 at some points in the week. These temperatures and the moist air will be able to fuel some of those showers, which will be possible in the middle of the week and towards your weekend. As for the winds, seeing them rather calm, so no frigid cold just yet. As for your current conditions, currently here in Milwaukee right now, mostly cloudy skies. That sun peeking through just a little bit in some places, but for the most part, very overcast skies. Temperature right now at 40 degrees and the dew point at 29. As for the rest of the day, as I said before, the clouds are going to stick around. We're really going to see a very gray week, you might say. Overcast skies for the rest of today. High of 46, low of 34, with a 0% chance of precipitation for now. We're not really going to see that precipitation occurring until later in the week. As for your lows across the state, seeing temperatures ranging throughout the 40s, starting up north in Rhineland at the low 43, Green Bay 46, Oshkosh area 47, here in Milwaukee 45, out in the Masson area 47, La Crosse 49, and in the state border, Eau Claire at 46. As for your highs, as I said before, temperatures ranging throughout the 40s, starting up north in Rhineland, pulling off a chilly 40 degrees right now. Green Bay area 42, Oshkosh 42, Milwaukee 46, in the Masson area 46, and across over by the state border, Eau Claire 45 and La Crosse 46. As for tonight, going to be cloudy once again, but a very calm night. Winds are going to stay calm down there, coming out of the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour, the low of 34, mostly cloudy skies. As for tomorrow, we're going to see Some of that sun peeking through in the morning, but as we go into the evening hours of tomorrow, we are going to be seeing some rain occurring overnight. Nothing too big, just maybe a slight constant drizzle with a high of 47. That temperature is going to be fueling those showers. Winds coming out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. As for Wednesday, partly cloudy skies. We might actually see a little bit more cloud cover throughout that day, but partly cloudy skies more of. So temperature high at 47 degrees and the winds coming out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. For your extended forecast, we are going to be seeing that gray and cloudy week continuing. As Thursday, we are seeing mostly cloudy skies with a high of 50. Much of the same for Friday with overcast skies and a high of 49. Moving into your weekend, we are going to be seeing that precipitation occurring with Saturday, seeing showers on and off throughout the day, and might even see some sleet in the mix there with a high of 51. And Sunday, much of the same, again with a high of 45. So a little bit more of an active week of weather. Definitely going to be seeing some warm temperatures for December, that's for sure.
High 40s, that's pretty high for
It
winter.
is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. In the 1970s, the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons filled the homes and student dorms. In the mid-1990s, a new game entered the fray, allowing players to use their imagination as they create an epic world of fantasy and spellbinding combat. Chris Horton from MATC tells us more.
Magic the Gathering is a card game that has taken MATC by storm. With a few more kids playing the game on campus every day, it is certainly gaining exposure. So let's go see what dwells in the corner in this week's MATC report.
Fellow student answered if MATC provided a good enough environment to play the game.
It's a pretty good place. Usually it just allows everyone to be at the same place at the same time because usually everyone's here going to class anyway. So you just go around there, hey, I have these classes this year and I have this day this year, I'm open between this and this, let's play.
A fellow student explained how the card game affected his schoolwork.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I would like to say no. The answer is slightly yes, though. I will at times put off a minor assignment to finish a match or to check out info on new things and then forget to go back to the minor assignment. So I have missed a couple assignments because of that. But for the most part, no, because we're all, like, a couple of them have graduated. The rest of us, we're trying to get our schoolwork done, and then we'll play. So not often, and if it is, it's usually something minor.
With the game's popularity on the rise, you'll see more and more kids playing it as the year goes on. For the MATC report, I'm Chris Horton.
Coming up next on PantherVision.
A junior guard making a big impression on the court, the local connections that support her.
And MATC students have a sweet way to give back during the holiday season.
All that and more when PantherVision returns.
Sure, they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
A strong, productive workforce. Building one requires proper education and training, not just for today, but for tomorrow. That's why for the last 100 years, thousands of successful workers wearing hats like these began their careers with this one hat.
Back-to-back victories in the Panther Arena lead the women's basketball team into a winning record and continue the men's streak.
And one UWM soccer player achieves an award off the field and in the classroom. Kat Chi joins us with sports. Kat?
Thanks, Briana and Emily. The women's basketball team has secured a victory at home against the Northern Illinois Huskies. With the final score of 73-58, they dribbled their way into a winning record that will hopefully continue throughout the season. Sophomore forward Steph Kostowicz posted a career high of 20 rebounds and 11 points. Kostowicz wasn't the only Lady Panther with a big night. Junior Alexis Lindstrom transferred from Northern Illinois University and faced her former team. After sitting out her first year as a Panther due to NCAA transfer rules, Lindstrom started every game so far this season. John Gettings tells us more.
She is deadly from outside the arc and has this, has the potential to really spread teams' defenses out and help our posts on the inside.
Women's basketball coach Kyle Recklich thinks highly of Northern Illinois transfer guard and small-town Wisconsin native Alexis Lindstrom.
I grew up in Howards Grove, Wisconsin, so it's only about an hour north from here. And I have an older brother who went to Marquette, who's now a lawyer in downtown Milwaukee, and then my parents are both from the Howards Grove area as well.
Lindstrom is the first hoopster in her family.
I do not have any basketball background in my family, but my parents played sports in high school, just nothing basketball-wise.
Recklich said that Lindstrom has emerged as a team leader.
Yeah, she actually has really stepped into that. So last year she was one of our hardest workers, just only being able to practice, and we kept watching that. And she's more of a lead by example type person. I'd love to get her to talk a little bit more, but she does definitely lead by example. She's always playing hard, wins our Heart Jersey and our Hustle Award quite often in our practices, and so that really shows the younger players what it takes to be successful at this level and the extra work that you have to put in to be a really good college player.
Lindstrom acknowledges the youth, but still thinks the team can be successful.
We're young, we're new to some of the stuff that's going on the court, the plays and stuff like that. But once we put it together, I think we're all we're a pretty quick team. We can push the ball, we can do different things, and I think if we put it all together, we'll be pretty explosive and pretty good this year.
In Milwaukee, I'm John Giddings for PantherVision.
The men's basketball team played the Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville, defeating them 64-51 on Thursday night. The Panthers were 100% on their free throws in the first half. Senior Matt Tybee led the team with 12 points, and this win puts their season at 6-3. Their next game is in Madison against the Badgers on December 9th. Senior Kelsey Hobart, a midfielder on the women's soccer team, is getting the highest academic honor in Division I sports. Hobart was named a member of the Academic All-America team with a GPA of 3.97. Hobart, a pre-med chemistry major, is the second Milwaukee women's soccer player to earn the honor. After sustaining a season-ending injury last year, she returned this fall as an important asset to their winning season. That's it for sports. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Kat. MATC's renowned baking department is auctioning off student-made gingerbread houses.
The sales from the auction go towards scholarships for baking students.
Emmanuel Espino has the story.
MATC's baking department is known for their delicious food, and the gingerbread houses that students are making this year certainly look like they will not disappoint.
For 19 years, the Baking and Pastry Arts program at MATC has created gingerbread houses to be auctioned off at the beginning of December. The proceeds then go towards scholarships for students of this program.
Well, our students, they're in their first or second semester of our program, and one of the classes they got to take is cake decorating. So as one of the projects in cake decorating, they have to develop a gingerbread house, and from there, taking it over to the Milwaukee Public Market, where Milwaukee area bakers graciously give us a donation for scholarships. So the students actually compete for some real live money.
Although this is an assignment, the students seem to be having lots of fun.
This is like most of our first time, so like learning what's good for gluing icing, what's good for getting a shine. There's a lot of difficult stuff. I did a lot of like glass work, which is a lot harder than I thought it would be. This is like my 5th one, and I broke all the ones before it, the little dome. So, but it's fun, and it's working out. Everybody else's is working out too. So,
If you'd like to bid on a gingerbread house, or even just come look at them, come on down to the Milwaukee Public Market. I'm Emmanuel Espino with your MATC report.
Thank you for tuning in for tonight's edition of PantherVision.
And you can watch us on Time Warner Channel 14 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99 at 5:30 on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and again at 10:30 on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Sadly, this is our last newscast of the semester, and we'd like to thank the television production students at Milwaukee Area Technical College for making us look good each week.
We will see you again in the spring.